your want and need and desire to achieve your goal has to be stronger than everything else that comes against you. So what was happening, whatever was going on with me that was horrible, that made me uncomfortable, that I didn't like, and what you hear people say, oh, that's too hard. Everything that made me feel like that, I would envision my end goal. And I would realize that, are you gonna allow this to get in the way of the pleasure of reaching this goal? And every time I had that thought, I would keep going. Every time when I was running and I felt like everything just said, you need to stop now. And I'd say, yeah, but I set that target down there. I knew that if I reached that target, the feeling I was gonna get to reach the goal that I'd set was gonna develop me and build me up. So I just kept going, and I knew that I was building something in me that was becoming strong and mighty. And even though I didn't know how good, I just knew there was something in me that said, this is better than what you've currently got. And to get what you want, you're gonna have to go through this pain, these feelings of disgust and giving up, because your body feels like it actually physically can't do anything else. It can't do no more. It's telling you, stop, I don't wanna take another step. I can't breathe, I feel sick. And you just keep going, because the worst thing you're gonna happen is you're gonna vomit. And keep going. The worst thing happens, you're gonna seize up, get cramp. But it doesn't say you can't keep going. Nothing says that. And then you can find out what you're made of. And through these daily exercises, I was finding out that, wow, I got a lot of belief in me. Like, I can do this. And then every hurdle that I jumped over that said you can't do it made me a bit more stronger. So I was becoming stronger every day, and there was less weed, then there was less company or being around the guys that kept me on the roads. And my very spirit and soul demanded that I be around guys with the same vision as mine. So my company started to expand. I began to be around other fighters. I met a guy named Cham Juf, CJ. The Wild African. He won the Southern Area title as a lightweight back in the 90s, the early 90s. Me and him became really close. So now I had somebody else away from my normal haunts. My best mate, Richie Craigie, Kevin, I had loads of guys that I was around. Mark Grant, who's we nicknamed Slider. These are the guys that I was kind of around, but I was affecting their lives because they saw me coming away from the roads and crime and saw me getting into boxing. So that was like whoa, what's going on here? And even though people on the roads, the word was like, well, how can you box, bro? You're a ganja baby. All you do is smoke weed, how can you box? Even though it was negative, I knew that my friends saw that belief that I was definitely gonna do this. And then when you invite them to my first fight, which was phenomenal, I got it on a CD somewhere. My first fight, crazy. Put me against this guy that was undefeated in 7 fights. He was a beast, had legs like this. 2 of my legs made one of his, strong. And he just chased me. And all I used was my belief in myself and my ability. And I had this thing in me, I cannot lose this fight. Whatever you do in this fight tonight, I would rather die than lose. And I boxed going back. I was so thankful that I had this gift of boxing going backwards. I could knock you out and throw right hands, walking back, dancing back. And I realized later on that this wasn't something that was a norm in boxing. Moving and being able to throw punches at the same time while you're moving. But this was natural to me because I've been doing this from I was a kid. So that's what won me the fight. And my heart, that when he really pressed me, because I was finished from round 1, there was nothing left. My chest was burning. I'll never forget this burning feeling in my chest. It was like a lighter was on my chest, bro. And it was round 1, and I remember my legs was doing all funny stuff, walking back to the corner. And I thought, shit, I got another 2 rounds, 6 minutes of this, I'm already done. I'd had sex the night before, so I broke the golden rule. So I'd already screwed up. So I knew I was just screwed in every way, shape or form. So all I had was this belief that was gonna push me to make my body do something that physically was telling me that I can't do this. I can't go for another 6 minutes throwing punches and dancing. But your mind.
Do you strongly believe that when your body's saying that you can't go anymore, how much more is left after that point?
You'll find out when you push yourself more. That's the only time you find out. Because I listen to other guys who have achieved and done great things, whether they've been runners, athletes, businessmen, and they believe that their bodies and minds or other people set a standard and a limit for them. But I think we don't realize as human beings that we're limitless. In terms of mentally, spiritually, we can achieve stuff way beyond what we imagine. We've been conditioned on this, with this system, to believe that we're just here to get up, we grow up, we get a job, we die, we're in the great, it's over. We retire, we do all this rubbish, and that's it. We're not taught that we're amazing, we're powerful, we're intelligent way beyond our belief. We're not brought up in school. That wasn't taught to me in school. That Prince, even if you don't do that well at your exams, that doesn't distinguish you and set your bar for what you can achieve. It's your mind, the power of your mind and your belief that allows you to set the standards for yourself. So I was now in an area where I began to set my own standards, and training allowed me to do that, because in my own head, I was the boss now. And when I was out running, or I was in the gym punching the bag, or when I was doing groundwork and press-ups, it was like I heard Ali say, I started counting when I got tired. I started counting when I felt the pain. So the other stuff I'd done didn't count when I felt good. It didn't count. What counted was when I was tired. So now I was facing that in reality in a fight. And what counted was these 2 rounds, because I'd spent myself in the first round. I was done in 3 minutes. Now I've got 6 more minutes. What are you made of, P? And I showed myself. And I wouldn't let this guy get the better of me. I wouldn't let him take over the fight. Every time his strength, which he seemed stronger than me, was gonna pin me in a corner, I'd just hold him. And the ref would break us up. Then I'll be the first to punch, and then when he punched, I punched. So if I started first, I'd finish last. If he started first, I'd finish last. So I was always showing the judges that I'm the man, I'm in charge, and the fight went my way, and it really showed me something about me, And I think to really give you a picture of what helped me along my journey, because we need help. I remember my first sparring partner was Michael Watson. And Michael, after sparring, came to me and said, you're gonna be a champion one day. And what that does for a kid who's just come from the roads and been homeless, it does immense things for your psychological, framework, how you're feeling, because this is a guy that I found out that had been Commonwealth champ, was fighting. He'd fought Nigel Benn, he'd beaten him. Or did he fight him after? No, I think he fought him already, because soon after he was fighting Eubank. He had the 2 fights with Eubank, so I knew him for the first fight and the second fight. So for him to tell me, you're gonna be a champ, because in the 3rd round of our boxing, he had to start going to my body to slow me down and break me up, because he said, you were giving me kittens in the first 2 rounds. Because I found it hard to settle you down and get you where I wanted. So because I know you got a brain for boxing, because you're gonna be champ. So that helped me along my journey. So whatever people said to me, didn't care. We got to block that shit out. There's always someone who don't believe in your vision. They don't matter. It could be parents, it could be your closest friends. They don't matter. All that matters is what you believe, what you think of yourself. So you got to create your own story. You got to create your own vision. You got to create your own plan, and then you got to be the boss. We are the boss of our own lives, our own destiny, everything. So I went for it, and I went for it every time I fought. I went for it every time I went running. I went for it every time I went in the gym. I went for it. I gave 100% because I knew if I done it then, if you put me in the spotlight, I'm gonna do it there because I'm doing it behind the scenes where no one's watching me. I'm giving 100% when no eyes are on me. I could get away with giving up when I'm tired. I done my groundwork. I done my sit-ups. I done my press-ups. I went running, but no one knows I didn't give 100% when I went running. They just know I went running. My trainer could ask me, did you go run this morning? Yeah, bro. But I know I gave 100% when I went running and I left nothing out there. So when I go into fights, bro, you gotta finish me off. You gotta put me to sleep to beat me. That's the only way. I'll accept it. I'll accept the loss, but I know I'm sleeping. Because as long as I can breathe and as long as my eyes can open, I'm getting up.